Ted Ryman first on, I think, from Cape Town. I know from Cape Town. I think he was the first one on. John Emmett still in Weymouth, but headed for sunnier climes eventually. Chris Fury in Melbourne, Australia. Graham Sweeney in Scotland. Gordon Smith in Denmark. Joe Holtzman in Colorado, where it's sunny. It is not very sunny here. It is rainy. Bing Bong, talking about Taylor Canfield. For some reason. Alistair Murray, we got an AAAA today, Julia.
I can hardly wait. There.
Ed Worley, John Hanfield, Pedro Foiling Sailor.
Yay.
As we get this one across the starting line. Jonathan Frank in Galveston, Galveston. Clayton Embley in the Bluegrass State in Kentucky, here in this country. Welcome to show 670. We're live as usual from San Francisco, the Beach Street Yacht Club, Studio B here in the Marina District of beautiful San Francisco. Julia, I trust you are well.
Yes.
Any hot tips?
No, it's just a good day to watch out for raindrops.
Fishbeck says it's rainy in Newport Harbor down in SoCal, as it is here. In fact, California having our first big winter storm this week, or so we hear. Speaking of storms, it's not quite a storm of lava coming up now, as long since predicted. In Iceland, they evacuated that little fishing, what was it called? Grindavik?
Yeah, I don't know.
They properly so after a swarm of earthquakes over the last months, and indeed in the last few days in particular. It erupted last night. Here is the report, courtesy of Channel 9 in Australia.
A volcano has erupted in Iceland, spewing lava kilometres through the region. Residents were on the front foot, leaving weeks in advance after a series of intense earthquakes.
You'd be forgiven for thinking it was the sun rising. In just seconds, it was as clear as day. And it was a sight to behold, whether it was out a window, from the tarmac, on the edge of town, the freeway, hanging from a helicopter, or through the lens of a drone. The crack is pouring out lava in all directions. It's currently 3.5 kilometres long, and it's growing. The eruption occurred just outside of Grindavik at 10:17 p.m. and is less than a kilometre from a power plant. The small fishing town has sat empty since last month. 4,000 residents were evacuated following weeks of earthquakes and the expectation this would happen. The priority now is to protect lives and, where possible, property. For now, both are far from danger, meaning it's an early Christmas light show. Annalise Bolt, 9 News.
Ugh. Ugh. And talk about carbon into the atmosphere. I shouldn't laugh. I mean, it's not a laughable.
Stingray is talking. Says another sign of global warming.
Yeah, right. It's not a sign. It's gonna add to the carbon in the atmosphere. But we don't need to debate politics today. Good afternoon from Philadelphia. Mary Jude Samansky is saying, MJ, nice to see you on. Julie Aarons is in Cleveland, not too far from Philadelphia, where it's very cold. And Julia, she's being critical of you for not having a scarf on today.
That's true. I'm allowed one day without a scarf.
I'm cold. I put on a sweatshirt, my Balboa Yacht Club's pullover, jumper, because it's chilly here and rainy and kind of a crappy day here in San Francisco. But that's not going to stop us. Talking about crappy days, that you recognize that picture, Julia? The Senate hearing room.
Oh,
yeah. Where the staffers had right there on that table. Good thing there's Purell and Clorox in the room. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say anything more than that, but obviously Croutonic. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
Croutonic. I mean, it's desecration of a fantastic institution. our Senate here in this country. I'll say nothing more than that. Croutonicism.
Mhm.
U.S. Senate hearing room, unbelievable. Clorox and Purell,
Oh.
indeed.
Oh.
Speaking of San Francisco, I couldn't resist, Julia. Today, I didn't put this in this day in history. Today is the 20th anniversary of Gavin Newsom, our then mayor and now our governor of the state of California. And he was a big help for the America's Cup, by the way. I don't want to forget what a big help he was in the Cup. But today is the 20th anniversary of his 10-year plan. Right?
Yep.
To end homelessness here in San Francisco. And of course, there was another picture that was being sent around of a homeless guy with his pants down, and he was having a bad case, shall we say, of
Yes. Oh, yeah.
diarrhea. And I did not put that in the shows
Thank you.
to spare all of you of that. I was going to
Yeah.
put it in after the slide and decided we didn't need that on this
No.
Christmas week. Speaking of Christmas week, on Friday night here in the Bay Area, we had San Francisco's lighted boat parade. It's, I don't know, the 35th, 40th year? It's been
Something like
going
that.
on for a while.
Well, yeah, I don't remember the name.
Commodore Grant Settlemeyer started that many years ago
Mhm.
down in Long Beach, in Naples, which is where the canals are, where the yacht clubs are. Beautiful Naples part of Long Beach, California, just south of LA. They had the Long Beach Naples Christmas boat parade that goes on, and John Sangmeister, our super fozy, wears his Grinch hat every year. I'm tired of that hat, John. That was a picture with another of our super fozies, Meg Eamon,
Yes.
some years ago at John and his wife Sarah's beautiful Christmas party, holiday party that they have at their house, which is right on the on Alamedas Bay. And I didn't go this year, but I've been, and Meg's been, and it's a great time had by all. And John, his cap,
Yes.
his hat, Julia.
But his smile also adds to that. He has a
Super.
great smile.
Super Fuzzy John the Sangmeister. Then there, not to be outdone, there's also one in San Diego. In fact, San Diego's this year was the 53rd annual San Diego Bay Parade of Lights. This is a hoot. Starts over by the San Diego Yacht Club and runs along the city, along Harbor Island, and then along the city front and all the way around to Coronado. It's a great, in fact, it's so popular and it brings so many people into downtown, the shoreline, and into the harbor, sponsored by the harbor, by the way,
Wow.
by the Greater Harbor
Right.
District Zone. What's it called? They also sponsored the America's Cup in 92, 95. The Harbor Authority. What's it called? This is so popular and it brings so many people into town. It's run on 2 nights, 2 successive Saturday nights
Mhm.
in San Diego. Finally, the granddaddy or the grandmommy of them all is in Newport Beach. It's been going on for 115 years, the Newport Beach Christmas Boat Parade. And here is a video report from last week.
Welcome to the boat parade. When I say Merry, you say Christmas. Merry! Merry! Good job, Lighthouse Beach. Give yourselves a hand.
I think these boats are really creative and super fun to watch. We're having a great time at Newport Beach right now.
Merry Christmas.
Grinchy!
The Grinch. We love any boat that has the Grinch on it. I grew up here. I grew up coming to the boat parade, and now that I have kids, it's really fun to come and take them to the boat parade. We just absolutely love it.
How's that?
Fine. I'm always reminded that they started that 115 years ago to provide compete
with the Rose Parade.
with the Rose Parade.
Well done. Exactly right. And that's the Rose Parade, of course, the Tournament of Roses, the big annual New Year's Day festivity in Pasadena, which is an eastern suburb of LA, northeastern, I guess. Pasadena, and that, of course, is where the Rose Bowl is, which is where the big football game has been. It used to be between the Big Ten and the Pac-12. The Pac-12 is no more. Sorry, Julia.
Oh, I know.
The Pac-12 is no more, but the Big Ten carries on. In fact, the University of Michigan will be playing in the Rose Bowl against Alabama on New Year's Day in one of the two semifinals for the National Collegiate Football Championship. We'll see if Michigan can beat Alabama and move forward to the finals against the winner of either Washington and or Texas. Texas, Washington State, Maddie Whitfield, and
it would be really fun to have two West Coast teams in that for a change.
It would be. Tom Fishbeck saying Balboa Bay Club had a very interesting drone show. Crazy, yeah. Our team, as you know, Julia, the It's Okay team has its annual party, Christmas party, on the Friday night of that big boat parade in Newport Beach, which goes on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It goes on 5 nights. Talking about bringing in a lot of people. And it does. Well, it's crazy around the bay, but we get in there early, take the shore boat over to Andy Rose's home, have our team assembled and watch the. I didn't go down this year because of had conflicts up here. East of LA, yep. Clayton Emblee's cheering for Roll Tide. He's cheering for Alabama. Jonathan Frank, no surprise, cheering for Texas against Washington. David James, LA is a suburb. It doesn't have suburbs. David James, our clever Fozy north of the bridge here. Hello, Uwe von Belo. I see, Julia, too, that the Gillinghams are on. We got a special segment I have not told you about that we're going to do with respect to. I've already opened the door for the 19th. I'm going to pull it out.
Ooh, good.
And then we're going to do something special in a moment. Pull this up here, I guess. And we're not going to talk. Why? That's not autofocusing. Did I say focus?
Yes, you did.
Autofocusing. I meant to say. Sorry. I'm in the holiday spirit, a holiday mood. We'll get to that. Any other comments? Go Blue, go Blue. Joe Holtzman's a big Michigan fan. And we will talk about all of that in due course when we get to, we're not going to do a show around, we're going to take the Friday and Tuesday off either side of New Year's because of, we just need a break, right?
Right.
I need a break anyway. I don't know. You probably gung-ho, ready to go. Nice blue. You could have a yellow something on and be cheering for Michigan today, Julia.
Well, I'll cheer for Michigan anyway.
You match this slide, this our lower third color, that sailing illustrated blue. Look at how close that is to the color of your dress.
It is. Yes.
What is celebrated today, Julia? Here's your first clue. Not much of a clue, I know, but okay. You know the Union Jack.
All right.
Do you know what country, what nation that flag represents? No, Julie Ahrens. Focusing is not a naughty word. That's a term of art when you're a videographer. You got to focus the camera. What country is that, Julia?
Well, with sharks.
Here's another clue. It's one of those island nations. Steve Gruber saying, it looks like the dolphins on the flag must be Recycling Dolphins Day. Jonathan Frank guessing at BVI. No. I'll give you another clue. That narrows it somewhat between Martinique and Puerto Rico. You know it's not Puerto Rico. BVI, people are guessing BVI now because of the Union Jack. Hello, Fritz Mueller. He probably knows. He's the closest of all of us probably to that island nation, which is celebrating today. Winter solstice in those a day ahead. Yeah, it's getting there. I can't wait for the days to start getting longer. Okay, here is the answer is, since nobody's got it, Mark Reed says they have snow in Michigan. Well, that's Michigan. You live in Michigan. It's Anguilla, depending upon Anguilla, if you're Spanish. Montserrat, Gordon Smith guessing no. Today is National Heroes and Heroines Day. A lot of countries celebrate similar days, smaller countries, island nations, but the beautiful island nations of Anguilla, located in the Eastern Caribbean, is a British overseas territory. In fact, they're not an Olympic country. They do not have an Olympic code. I looked it up today. The islands of St. Kitts and Nevis joined the nation of Anguilla as an associated as an associated statehood in 62. There was some resentment against this political decision made by the people of Anguilla, and they marched on their police headquarters. They evicted the Royal St. Kitts police force from the island in May of 67, and Anguilla was able to secede from that association on December 19th, 1980. This day was declared a public holiday and was called Separation Day, which doesn't sound very elegant. So the aim was to celebrate the anniversary of the political separation of Anguilla from the territory of St. Christopher, Nevis, Anguilla, and more recently, it's become National Heroes and Heroines Day. It's really their Independence Day or their National Day in that beautiful island nation of Anguilla.
With the help of Scott Newhall and his cohorts.
Who is Scott Newhall?
He was the editor of the San Francisco Chronicle, who did strange things.
Strange things?
Well, I mean, yes, like help Anguilla become a separate nation.
He did? The San Francisco Chronicle, a writer or an editor or what?
The editor.
The editor. How do you know these things?
Well, I was there.
Stingray wants to know, Julia, you probably know the answer. Did all 5 people in Anguilla celebrate?
Oh, they were very serious.
Clayton Embley, I lived in St. Kitts and helped build a 12-meter yacht there.
Oh, nice.
Beautiful place, beautiful people. David James, the last time I was in Anguilla, the resistance involved sitting around drinking. Okay, so that's what is celebrated today, and we're celebrating it too because it is. I've not been, but it's a beautiful island nation. I got to Martinique though. You know, we may have stopped in Anguilla. We were on some kind of a cheapy flight. I was going down to sail, I think, in the Sunfish Worlds, and my mother was escorting me down there, and trying to get away from my dad, I think, my beloved mother. And it was one of these flights where I think we started in San Juan, and it stopped. It was an island hopper, and it stopped, and I don't know how many different. But
Eastern Islands used to had a good deal because you paid a flat fee.
And you could hop from island to island.
Yes, for 3 months.
Oh, well, that sounds like a good deal. A good deal is supporting us via Patreon. We thank all of our patrons via Patreon, patreon.com/join/Sailing Illustrated. It's a good deal. We are free to air. We're going to keep it that way. We're going to expand, we think, a couple of things. We're also got some interesting technological developments. And indeed, if you saw on my Facebook page, you will see that I modified the clocks, took away Singapore because we really don't have any active Singaporeans, and I changed the Singapore clock for Cape Town in honor of
Mr. Ryman.
Ted Ryman. And he pointed that out when I posted on my Facebook page. We've added a couple other things like this side by side, and Julie, I can switch that to you as well in due course. So we made a few technical upgrades. I think we will continue to do so as we get into the new year. Speaking of that, the holiday schedule that we alluded to at the top of the show, we will do our regular show this coming Friday, the 22nd, show 671 at our normal time. Then Monday evening, our special show, our annual show, watch party for the Rolex Sydney Hobart yacht race, the start of which is at 1 p.m. local time in Sydney on Boxing Day, the 26th. That means our watch party the night before. The race starts here at 6 p.m. our time in San Francisco. We'll go live a half an hour before that, which is 0130 plus 1 UTC. That will be for the watch party on our Christmas night, your Boxing Day Down Under. We will also do our regular Tuesday show on the 26th of December. So Sunday night here, then Tuesday afternoon, show 673. Why? Because we hope, Jeff Waller is working with us on having live coverage off one of the Maxis throughout the entire race, which we think we are also going to be able to cover. So not only the start on our Christmas night on your Boxing Day Down Under in Sydney, but also live coverage throughout from one of the Maxis. And we'll give everybody an update at our regular show on Tuesday the 26th. Then we are going to take that Friday and the following Tuesday off. I'm going to be out of town, and I don't want to carry all the gear around and just take a holiday break at the very end
Good
of the
idea.
year and the start of the next year. And then we will be back with our regular show on Friday, the 5th of January, show number 674 at the normal time. Julia, anything to add to all of that?
No, it's a good idea. I'm looking forward to the Sydney Hobart.
We all are, and I never will forget the the famous protest hearing,
Yes.
the mock hearing with Clark Chapin
Yeah.
and Dick Anderson that we did after
Right.
that protest in between the Maxies in the harbor before they exited through the North Head.
Right.
And the protest decision, which was made by the FOSI here on the show, I can't remember what day it was, but it was a few days after
Yeah.
the boats finished, but before the protest committee had heard it. And then we know the protest committee, the jury were hearing or watching our show.
Right.
And the FOSI decided to penalize the Maxi, the offending Maxi, which was Waxy, by 30 minutes. And the jury decided to penalize them by an hour. So the FOSI were actually kind of light. We're not too hard on them.
Mhm. Yes. No, that was interesting.
The mouse that roared, Bill Canfield's back on Aguila. He lives down. So Canfield's even closer than Fritz Mueller. He's normally, this time of year, he's down in St. Thomas. Is that where Christine was born? Dad joke. Jody Shields. Christine, my daughter? I don't know about that. Tom, ready to come back for a second helping at the Norwegian Club,
Oh.
San Francisco. Yeah, that would be fun. I haven't been to the Norwegian Club since we celebrated the whose celebration of life was at the Norwegian Club.
Yeah.
One of our St. Francis members,
Right.
who was a fabulous Norwegian and a Canar sailor.
Yes.
Remember who it was?
Mm-hmm.
Come up with a name? David James will come up with a name. Did that include St. Bart's? Hello, everyone. Chris Exley's in Salem, Mass. Jody Shields will be in Bali. That's nice. Remember where we had Shields on from Bali last year, right? With his wife and friends, and they were somewhat relaxed, shall we say?
Yes. Yes.
Next World Sailing Meeting is in Singapore, Canfield is telling us. And Pedro Foiling Sailor, you deserve a break, Tom. I might join you if only I could cure my ADHD. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to celebrate Ian Williams, his 7th world title. But before that, we're going to have John Emmett on with from the coach's corner. I've got that level pushed up because couldn't hear that video from Fox 11. It was a little light on the audio side.
Mm-hmm.
Coach's Corner, Super Fozy John Emmett, live to tape, I guess this morning, once again, before he goes off and about to warmer climes, South America, in fact. Here he is with today's report.
Greetings, Tom, Julia and all the Fozy. I'm here at Weymouth and I'm actually standing next to Lily's wasp, which is water lily. So I'll take you for a walk and a talk. We haven't done it for a little while and you'll notice that the tash is gone. So maybe that's the end of that game. But this is Castle Cove Sailing Club and it's actually the last event of the series, and for me the last event of the year. So Sunday sailing is it's the bread and butter of clubs up and down the country. But what you will probably see in the background, which you wouldn't have seen a little while ago, is lots and lots of yachts, because they're off the water now until Easter time. So yeah, get their bottoms polished and all the rest of it. And I'm just getting ready to pack to go to sunnier climes. So I'll take you for a little walk around the boat park. Last few people coming in. Biggest danger here is obviously trying not to get washed in the hose. So you've got a few little people helping get your boats up in their Christmas hats. You see that? And I think probably the last person is just being towed in. But yeah, the reason I thought it's probably good to get rid of the tash, I might not make passport control otherwise. But yeah, this is the slipway, last boat coming in, and last proper Sunday of the season. And I just think this club racing is very important. It's funny here, 10, 12 degrees. It's absolutely fine when you're racing, but it is a little bit cold between the races. I always try and have something to eat And when we do the bigger races, I actually put a jacket on between races, so I actually use gels. So you've heard of a paper cut. Well, I actually managed to cut my lip eating a gel today. I'm not quite sure how I did that. I suddenly noticed a bit of blood. This is my boat here. Trying to just shelter it for the wind when I do the walk and the talk. But yeah, I need to get a bit of a pack on and make sure I don't leave anything, because I'm not going to be back for quite some time. What a difference a day makes. So I'm now here in Mar del Plata, Argentina. The sun is shining and it's time to do a little bit of boat work. What we do for these events is we fly and charter. So very grateful to my friend Lou Falacasa for sorting me out a boat. Just doing those little wear and tear repairs. And this is actually the sailing club for the World Championships next year, so it's really good to come and find these things out now. So for example, my tiller doesn't quite fit in the stock, so I'm going to go and get another one and try that out tomorrow and just get familiar with the waters and the food. And I would say in Argentina, people are very, very friendly, and unfortunately for their economy, it's getting quite cheap here. In fact, I'm being careful not to change more than about $50 at any one time, because the next time I change, the exchange rate has improved. So yeah, I'm going to be sailing a Rio Tetna, a different Ilka manufacturer, so I'm getting used to that boat and going for a little walk around now while I'm waiting for the gel coat to dry. Unsurprisingly, there's quite a few people here, sort of Argentina, Chile, and so on, in those countries, but there's quite a few Europeans as well. And I think there's more than a couple of the standard rigs, or I should say Ilka 7s are here training before they go to Adelaide or Australia in general for that summer season. So yeah, these are the boats in the background that will be used for the actual event itself. I felt the most important thing for me was to get my boat sorted and get familiar with it, get everything done, and then I'll be ready for the main event itself. All right, okay, well, it's time for me to wander back, and hopefully I'll see you on today's show. Hello now with the time difference. I might actually be sailing some of the time when the show's on, but I prefer this time zone for sure.
Well, don't cry for me, Argentina, right?
Yeah. No, I love Argentina. Yeah.
John Emmett, get to the front of the fleet. John Emmett sailing. And I don't know, Julie, that we've ever had a report where he's gone from one country overnight to the other. I mean, it's a 12-hour flight from the UK down there. It's a long flight.
Yeah.
I used to fly it going from Germany I can turn John's music down and change the slide up, but we used to fly on successive, there was a week between. The smart people stayed down, but we'd fly down to Sao Paulo,
Yeah.
which is, a 12-hour flight from Europe to South America, maybe 9 hours, I can't remember.
Yeah.
Do the race, turn around, fly back, leave Sunday night, be back in Hamburg's, Monday morning, Monday afternoon, be in the office, work through Thursday, take a weekend off, and then do the same thing the following weekend, go back to Argentina when there was a race in Argentina. Beautiful country. Don't cry for me, Argentina. They've got a new prime minister, president, who is a libertarian, very conservative, Chicago school conservative fiscal guy who is, I think, is going to peg their dollar to the U.S. dollar because inflation's out of control, as John mentioned. They got a real economic problem. But thanks, John, for that. He's going to be on the road, as he mentioned, for quite some time. We'll let him fill you in on more as he goes forward. And I think he's going to get to see his lovely wife sooner than later. What happened, Julia? On the 19th of December, this is a nice lead into our segment after this, 1984. Any idea?
84.
You want a clue?
Yep.
Okay, here's your first clue. Does that help? You see those two flags there?
Oh, yes.
On the left is sitting Margaret Thatcher.
Oh, yes.
On the right, the then premier of China, Zhao Ziyang, I guess.
Oh, was that Hong Kong?
Yeah. Fog Machine's got it. Ted Ryman's got it. That is in '84 when they did the deal. Chinese Premier Zhao Ziyang and British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher signed the Sino-British Joint Declaration to transfer Hong Kong back to China in 1997. So I guess Fog Machine was the first to get it. Ryman got it. David James, he had it. Stingray, Keith Richards turned 101. I don't think so. The agreement to hand over Hong Kong, Gordon Smith had it. Honking, Graham Sweeney, yes, honking. So those are the comments that got it. This happened on this day in history, Julia, 1984. It seems, I guess the handover seems like only yesterday, but still, that was 25 years ago.
Yeah.
97 to 26 years ago. And this happened 13 years before that. So bloody hell.
Yeah, and nobody thought it was really going to happen, and it did.
Well, I think we all thought it was going to happen, but of course, the promise was that they would maintain their autonomy and quasi-independence. They'd work into the Chinese system.
Right.
And of course, Beijing has cracked down since, which is the great fear of what will happen to Taiwan if and when Taiwan goes back into the fold.
Yes.
Weird times, Julia. Weird times. I want to go back to some earlier comments. Graham Sweeney says it was no deal. It was a poor agreement that never should have happened. China has been ignoring the agreement. Chris Exley says, Pedro Foiling Sailor, UK letting China use the RY8 training protocol. Fog Machine, Hong Kong was leased property and the lease was up. Yeah, I think that's true. What was it, 100 some odd year lease? I was there shortly after it was handed over. Gordon Smith says, yes, I was too. I was as well. Hong Kong made a deal to keep Olympic status for, I believe, 100 years. Oh, interesting, Bill Canfield. And Jonathan Frank, who probably has flown there dozens of times, says now you can't get cheap Rolex knockoffs there anymore. I want to just run up to some earlier comments that will be off that list, Julia. I can't scroll that list up. Yeah, John, he said he cut his lower lip when he shaved his stash.
Yes.
He didn't say why he shaved his stash. He did say that the boats, those bigger boats, the keel boats, had been hauled to clean their bottoms. David James, you remember the name of the gentleman, Julia? Canard sailor.
Anderson.
Gunnar Anderson.
Gunnar Anderson.
I mean, you can't pronounce the K unless you've sailed one. I've not sailed one in the Oslo Fjord, but I've sailed them. I sailed in Denmark, actually, but not in the Oslo Fjord. That was close with the Ilka clue, yeah, John. He's been destashed, but not. It didn't get smacked by the clue of the sail of the Ilka. And of course, Julie, you know what the clue is, right?
Yes.
The lower aft corner of a sail.
Mm-hmm.
And that brings us to Ian Williams, who's won his 7th world match racing title. You saw in the show notes, and I'm using as our cover slide to say so today. So bravo Zulu to Ian and his team on wrapping that title up over the weekend in Shenzhen, China, hence the little lead in about Hong Kong. Julia, did you think that was clever?
I did. Oh, yes.
Oh, come on. I pat myself on the back for that one. Here we go with this report. First, the video.
The 2023 World Match Racing Tour Final in Shenzhen, China reached the final day with just 4 teams left to battle for the $50,000 first place prize. 6-time Tour champion Ian Williams from the UK chose to race against New Zealand's Megan Thompson, who was looking to become the first female skipper to ever win the title. That left a battle between 2 hugely experienced teams, Johnny Bernson from Sweden and Gavin Brady for USA, neither of whom have won the championship. With wind around 6 knots, the semifinals began with full intensity. The first 2 matches tied in the Williams-Thompson battle, but only after Thompson's crew hit the windward mark due to a lack of wind, thus incurring a penalty. But Gavin Brady and his team raced to a 2-0 lead and the brink of the finals. In this first to 3 wins contest, match 3 was pivotal. A collision on the finish line saw Thompson black flagged, handing the advantage to Williams. Meanwhile, Burnson clawed his way back to score his first point, thus both head into a 4th match. Despite Thompson's best efforts, the Williams juggernaut was unstoppable, securing the vital 3rd win, as did Gavin Brady, who left the Swedish team a long way behind.
Well, come second in the World Match Racing Tour twice back in the day, so it'd be a little frustrating to come second again, but it's a privilege to be in the final, especially against someone like Ian. I think both teams have got nothing to lose. Hopefully we'll see some really good quality match racing.
We're racing Gavin Brady. He's he's one of the skippers who's even older than me. So hopefully we'll beat him with youthful exuberance and aggression.
That set up a tantalizing finale for the 2023 championship title. Ian Williams vying to become the first skipper to win the coveted trophy 7 times. The opening match saw a close start, but Brady read the shifts well on the 2nd lap to open a 40-second lead over Williams and was able to cruise home without any pressure to put his mark on the scoreboard. In match 2, Williams fought back to level the score, and in match 3, Williams won a tight battle around the final windward mark to take the lead on 2 points. Meanwhile, in the petite final, Johnny Burnson from Sweden finished 4th after another skilled display from New Zealand's Megan Thompson, who took 3rd place, becoming the first female skipper to ever make a podium position in the history of the Match Racing World Tour.
The result's more than we could have hoped for, and so just happy to be here and finish the way we did. You know, you're always learning every event, and hopefully we can build upon this and come back to whatever's next stronger.
In the 4th match of the final, approaching the windward mark on the 1st lap, Williams read the shifts perfectly and crossed ahead, rounding with a 12-second lead. And, using their many years of collective knowledge and experience, the team held the lead with an almost perfect race, winning their 3rd race and securing the World Championship title. It was bittersweet for Brady after a long break away from the tour.
You don't get many chances to win a World Championship like this. You kind of feel, well, where can I take it from here? You know, can I keep doing this and have another shot at it, or say, hey, it was being fun? But couldn't have wished to sail against a better team in the final. Feel happy to be in the final, but still a little disappointed.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's been a long time coming, actually. When was it? 2016 was the last world title for us, so we battled away. We've never stopped trying, and it's just fantastic with these guys to come here and win the 7th one.
A glittering awards ceremony was a fitting climax to the 2023 Match Racing World Tour. The prize money checks awarded to the top 3, and then another moment in history as Ian Williams is handed the World Championship trophy for a record 7th time. An incredible achievement, matching a superb first-time event at the Shenzhen Baoan Cup in China, which brings the 2023 World Match Racing Tour to a close in sensational style.
Yeah, it was a nice video, wasn't it?
It was.
It was. And Bing, you know who Bing Bong is in the comments here? Up above? He's commenting, why didn't they just... Yeah, the AI voice, it's getting better. It's better than most, but there's still, you can tell there's some problems. But it's still a little irritating, isn't it? Bing Bong is one of Sangmeister's kids. I think it's Jack.
Oh.
I can't remember which of the 3 kids, of the 3 boys it is, but Bing Bong says, why didn't they just have literally anyone do the voiceover? Anyone there? I mean, there's all these... It's hard to do. It's not that easy to do and sound decent, you know, as we keep commenting on here, someone who is not overly excited and over the top and going off like a, firecracker, yes. And somebody who's not just dull and boring, kind of the way I am.
Or has no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not quite that easy. Also questions about why isn't, Gordon Smith asking, why isn't Ian, after all the success, Why is he not associated with either a Sail GP or an AC squad? Odd. He's a lawyer. He's a practicing lawyer, and I know for a while he dropped out of lawyering, but he must be back at it, I assume. But maybe not. Maybe he's sailing, racing full time. Yeah, it was lovely water skiing weather in China. Mark was advising one of the teams, I know, on weather because he came on the show Tuesday and told us that the breeze would come up, and indeed it did. Yeah, he has a real job. He's an attorney. Jody Shields, you could even remotely, that's the other thing. You get Jody, who's sitting presumably in Wanji.
Yeah.
And who's he's got a day job too. He's working hard on his company that he owns and operates. But hey, Jody, here's the text. Can you voice this? Put it on a thing.
Yeah.
It's it's not quite that easy to do because you got to put the pictures with a voice or the voice with the pictures.
Right.
And generally what they do is they put the pictures with a voice.
Yeah.
Because that's easier.
Is it?
Yeah, that's easier than sitting there and reading the voiceover and looking at the pictures and trying to keep up. It's hard. It's not an easy thing to do. So I don't know how they're doing it. I spent a couple of years, David James saying, I lived in Hong Kong. He's David James. I am still a member of the Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club. China has destroyed Hong Kong. You can choose to understand it or not, but otherwise, please don't simplify it. Okay. That brings us to 100 comments already today, Julia.
Yes.
Huh?
Yep.
David James. A great video. Let's carry on here and talk some more about this event because they're not only Ian's 7th win, but to have Megan on the podium was fantastic. And to have Gavin back in action. I mean, Gavin Brady's been gone, as he said, and as you saw in that video. And I've known Gavin at least, Julia, for 23 years. Gav was with us in your clubs. I was not a member then. I guess I had joined at that point. St. Francis Yacht Club's 2000 America's Cup Challenge, and Gavin on that KR team, as well as Kostecki, as well as Terry Hutchinson. I mean, this was a good team.
It was a great team.
It was a really good team. But it's really nice to see how close this racing was. Okay, 3-1, but no one swept their respective semi. Gavin beat Yanni Berenson, who's been a perennial power on the circuit, on the tour, including multiple Congressional Cup winner, right? Has he won it more than once? And Ian, who's also just top drawer, but to see Megan Thompson come along, as Gordon Smith is saying, yeah, it was great to have Megan on the podium.
Yeah, good for her,
finished third, and that was the final. Ian beating Gavin, 3-1. And then Yanni losing. He got docked to 3/4 of a point in the first match, but it didn't matter. Megan won 2 of the 3 races in the petit finale. So bravo Zulu to her and to all of them. It was just a fabulous event after they got over the light air. Strange venue, but a lot of money and beautifully done. And Ian, a more than worthy winner. Gavin, a more than worthy runner-up back on the circuit. And as John Sangmeister texted me, he was watching the finals because John and Gladstone's Restaurant sponsors Ian Williams. In fact,
oh, really?
Yeah, Ian was struggling a couple of years ago to get to Congressional Cup, and somehow John got involved and has helped them get to Congressional Cup since, and I think helped their team.
Oh,
Ningbo won, or
nice.
China won Ningbo, is Dot Ningbo. So great to see Gav back on the circuit and doing well. This was a barn burner. The matches were very close, as they often are in light air. Really close racing there. You can see Ian talking to the umpires.
Yes.
Gavin, 2 hands on the tiller extension because they are in close combat there, hand-to-hand combat.
It's understandable if a boat gets blown into another boat, but you ought to be able to avoid it.
Well, it's tough. They're maneuvering against each other, and the boats have some mow. So if you push the helm down a little bit to come up toward them, and you forget to pull the helm back soon enough, or don't pull the helm back soon enough, there's a little bit more momentum of the boat. These are big, heavy boats. Look at the name of this one. I guess that was the sponsor, one of the sponsors, Blue Budgie.
Yeah.
You know what a budgie is in Australia?
Bird. It's a bird.
Well, it is, but you know what a budgie smuggler is in Australia?
Mm-mm.
It's a Speedo. It's a man's bikini bathing suit.
Really?
It's a Speedo, budgie smuggler, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yes, you got to know these things. Ted Ryman says, nice boats. There's Megan. She had a terrific regatta. You see who's sitting next to her? Up there on the rail, trimming main and calling tactics, or helping at least with the tactics.
Looks like Ian Williams.
No, but close. I'll give you there she is on shore.
Mm-hmm.
Getting a lot of attention as well. She dissolved a banana hammock fog machine is saying. A Speedo.
Mm.
There he is. A Fozy. Ian's a Fozy too. He's been on the show at least once, maybe twice.
Yeah.
That is Leo.
Oh, Leo. I was going to. Yeah.
That's Leonard Takahashi,
Yeah.
and he's been doing a lot of sailing. As we reported here, thanks to his dad, Rob Fry, pinged us during a show a week ago.
Oh, that he was here, yeah.
That Leonard has abandoned his Olympic campaign, his 49er campaign, because he's now in the Sail GP circuit.
Yeah.
With Team USA.
Oh, yeah.
As an advisor, and he may end up on the boat. We shall see. We shall see. But Leo down there sailing and helping, no doubt, Megan get to the podium. She's a fine sailor in her own right. She won. Did she win the women's match racing world? Somebody help me. Fantastic stuff. Fantastic stuff, and great to see Megan as well as Gavin, and of course Ian, 7 times World Match Racing Tour champ. And there they are on the podium. Gavin there on the left, second. Ian in the middle in first. Megan on the right and third. Real money there. U.S. 50,000 to the winner, 32 to the runner-up, 26 to the third place team. There is the overall standings for the top, for all of them, all 12 teams. Yanni was 4th, Bjorn 5th. Eric Monin, who did well early, the Swiss terrific campaigner on this circuit. And the up-and-coming, not even up-and-coming, the champ won the Gulf Cup and many other events. Nick Egnott Johnson was 7th. Chris Poole with Joachim Aschenbrenner. I mean, you look at the crews.
Yeah, they're all terrific
crews, including and especially Ian's crew of Jan Gunnarsson and Richard Sydenham, and Gerard Thomas. Terrific job. Well done. Bravo Zulu to all of them, and especially to Ian Williams. Any other comments that I missed there, Julia? Some talk about college sailing from Bing Bong.
Mm-hmm.
And they have budgies in Queensland and Victoria and Sydney. We have parrots. What? Oh, budgies are birds.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it. Pedro Foiling Sailor setting us straight on that, Julia, as we get to another event that wrapped over the weekend. This was the Youth Worlds in Búzios in Brazil. The winners, we've got some pictures of each of the winners, a female 29er. I won't try to Lewandowska, I guess. And you know that country flag, Julia? White on top and
Cuba.
red.
Is it?
That is Poland.
Oh, it's Poland.
Just look at all the consonants in the last names of these girls.
Yeah.
These ladies. Julia Maria Zmudzinska. Sorry. And then in the male, which is also the mixed 29er, that, of course, is France. Hugo Reville, and Carl Deveau winning for France in the mixed 29er. Garcia de la Casa was the winner, Daniel and Nora de la Casa in the NACRA 15. Bravo Zulu to them.
Mm-hmm.
And they were from Spain, of course. This is a Brazilian team of Faulhaber and Vassal, the female 420 winners. They were, of course, local heroes in Brazil where the event was held. The mixed, the male and also mixed 420, Mattia Tognacci and Juan Cardi winning for Italia in the 420 mixed. And then the female IQ foil. You know what flag that is, Julia? It's not Puerto Rico.
No. No.
Look at that little flag.
Yeah.
I might try camera 4 here, right there.
Yeah.
That is the Czech Republic.
Oh.
Czech. And the winner, Kristina Pinosova in the female IQ foil. Chris Beckwith got that. He could see it was the Czech flag, or knew it was. Stanislaw Trepczynski won the male IQ foil, also from Poland. Poland's a pretty switched on youth sailing country, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
The winner in the ILCA 6, John says This guy's a hell of a good sailor. It's a gal. This is Ruth Wind from France, Ruth's Wind. And he also says that Mattias Cesana from Italia is also look at how big and strong both of those sailors are.
Right.
Up and coming Ilka 6 sailor winning for Italia. And then finally, the female Formula Kite winner. You recognize that flag?
Turkey.
Right. Look on the bottom of the board. From Turkey, Darren Atakan, the female Formula Kite. And this kid we've talked about on the show at some length, Max Mader, the male Formula, oops, that's not my graphics department, that's World Sailing's graphics department. The Formula Kite, male Formula Kite winner from SGP, Singapore, Max Mader, so bravo salute to him. And we'll close this segment with the official video.
The day was incredible. The wind was very, very nice, and we did a great job today. So yeah, we are very happy. The championship was amazing.
We are super happy to win this World Championship. We train with this goal.
Really happy. This World Champion. Perfect. Brazil.
We're so grateful for everything, for every tips from our coaches, for our parents for the support.
At this event, it's so special to represent your country on your own. So it's really nice to have the Dutch flag here with me.
You see that last image there?
Yeah.
I screen grabbed it so we could talk about it. They do a thing called the Nations Trophy at the youth. They do it lots of different events, but at the Youth World's been doing it for years. And do you see who won it?
No.
Recognize the flag?
Mexico. Is it?
Italia.
Oh, Italia.
Italia. Mexico has a crest in the middle of the flag. Is the Mexican flag also green, white, red, or is it red, white, green? I can't remember. Nations Trophy, Italia, followed by France and Great Britain. Those were the 3 top teams, and they add all the medals up, and you get X many points for gold and X something less, I think, for silver. Or they may just count the number of medals, irrespective of which medals they are. But Italy, France, and Great Britain, bravo Zulu to them, and that is a cool event, and you can see the enthusiasm.
Oh, they absolutely have having a great time.
For sure. You notice there weren't any Americans there on the podium?
No.
Not a good look, Julia. But before we get to Alistair's segment, I think maybe we ought to do the Christopher and Jane Gillingham segment.
Aha.
Okay, Julia, now I've already opened up on the 19th back here on this really nice Advent calendar that Christopher and Jane Gillingham from the UK sent us.
Right.
And I pulled out, this is Bon Maman. This is hot, fancy stuff.
Yes.
And I've seen a video about supposedly this company during World War II sheltering Jewish kids. And there was some anecdotal stuff that was sent to us by Peter Taylor and others.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll look into that for a future show. But, Julia, I have today's.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all.
And it's not jam. We call this a preservative.
Yes.
And Julia.
Yes.
Has, in honor of the Brits, in honor of Christopher and Jane, she has sourdough English muffins, San Francisco sourdough.
Right.
Lightly toasted, Julia.
Lightly toasted.
Lightly toasted. For you to spread a little bit of preservative.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to have a treat since we're not drinking this holiday. Well, I stopped drinking when I was 70. I figured after 50 years, why do I need to drink anymore? Huh?
Yes.
Is that why?
I don't think so. No.
Bing Bong is saying he thinks the U.S. were Tom, U.S. finished second in NACR 15, and I think they were leading. Okay, so they did get on the podium for the NACRs, but I didn't see them win any class. That's good to hear. Thank you. Preserve. Not preservatives, preserve.
Yes.
English preserve, French preserve. Preservatives are condoms, aren't they? Huh?
No, I've been faithfully tasting pretty much every day, and it is incredible.
Before you hand that over, hold it up so you're going to put you on camera there with those preserves. Thank you, Gordon Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Right to your camera. Here's your camera right there. There you go. Nice.
Yes. No, they are an elegant combination, and they are very tasty.
Now, I want you to know, I ran out and got San Francisco sourdough English muffins for this segment.
Yes.
Do you believe that?
I do.
No, I didn't. I had the Beach Street Yacht Club bartender, Alfredo Partible. Oh, you've got some upstairs
Yes.
too, don't you? No,
Yeah.
I didn't steal one. I did not steal one from Julia. Mm. Mm.
Mm-hmm. That's really good.
I was going, excuse me, talking to my mouth. I was going to do a Fosey poll. Should one put butter on the scone or on the sourdough English muffin before we put on the preserve?
This is strawberry guava spread.
Strawberry guava?
Mm-hmm.
Is each different?
Each is different.
If I pull out, well, I guess we pulled out, I don't want to open any more up. Strawberry guava. Oh, it's delicious. Jane, and if you're watching, Christopher Gillingham, thank you very much.
They're all different, and they have very special
Now,
flavors.
you see this? I didn't put butter on because I thought it was not correct. Not being a Brit, I wouldn't know, I guess. But they're always, Ryman, Baton Rouge, Baton Kennan, they're all saying, always use butter. Stingray's complaining about you not having a scarf on, Julia. Always use butter. You need to put butter on, and I should have buttered the lightly toasted
warm
English muffin. Just warm it up, right? And the butter. Butter is required. Chris, actually, I'm wrong. Everybody agrees. I've completely screwed this up, Julie. I should have put butter on.
Oh, that's all right.
But it tastes great.
We get to have more jam this way.
Well.
That's good. Lunch.
Ed Worley says, yes, butter first, then jam. Well, I wouldn't put the butter on top of the jam, would you? I wonder if it's sacrilegious, Julia, to put, to use this high-end preserve in a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. If I were to take this and put another, in fact, just put peanut butter on this, would that be complete croutonicism?
To somebody it might be, but you're eating it.
It would be croutonic, wouldn't it? Ruin the preserve?
You wouldn't fully appreciate it, probably.
Oh, it's good. On everything, Sangmeister said. Butter on everything, yeah.
I agree with that.
Butter. Bovril, Marmite, give me a break. Andrew McIrvin, not both. Not Bovril and Okay, this is, now we got a controversy started here, Julia. Next time we do this, we'll for sure put butter down on the warmed, slightly toasted or
Slightly
warmed?
toasted.
Slightly
Yeah,
toasted. That's
be
what
good.
I did. You can tell. Vegemite, Ed Worley is saying. Okay.
No.
Butter and Marmite. Okay, we got the controversy going now. Let's let that, Marmite and cream cheese, sweetie. Wow. Okay, we've beaten that one to death. Let's go to Alistair and his, he retired. And he's very modest and humble about it. I'm sure he, sold the company. He and whoever else were his shareholders, and bravo Zulu to them, because he's now, after a long time at the helm of that company, as CEO and then executive chairman, then non-executive chairman. He's recently stepped down. And that company, which was started by two Australian gentlemen, Ron and Stan, known around the world as Ron Stan. I had a lot of Ron Stan fittings on all my boats growing up. And he sold the company and is moved into the lap of luxury in his beloved Metong. Have a look.
G'day, Tom, Julia, and all the Fosey. This is Alistair checking in for AAAA. Alistair's awesome Aussie anecdote for the week. I've been less than frequent with these lately, and I must apologise for that. I really have been busy going through a lot of things, and I will be checking in more as we go into the next year. But this is probably my last one for the year, just to say hi. I've grown a beard, or starting to grow one for the occasion, just perhaps in anticipation of meeting John Emmett in Adelaide, but I don't think that'll happen, John, because I'm going to be travelling elsewhere while you're doing that. But this is an occasion on which I can take the opportunity to thank Tom and Julia for everything they bring to us. Sailing Illustrated is a very good part of our lives, an important part of our lives, and enables us to engage with the Fosey around the world who have become friends in many cases. I know many of them already, but there's others that I'm yet to meet. I'll be in the UK in July and August because I'll be heading over to Marseille for the Olympics as President of Australian Sailing, and I'm going to be spending a week in the UK and make sure that I catch up with Fosey such as John and the Andrews and many other people that check in regularly. So you've created a real community here, Tom and Julia. It's something we all enjoy. It brings us all up to date with the very latest from the sailing world around the world, and that's so great to be able to do. Great videos, great action, great discussions, great debate, the opportunity to agree, disagree, send in some irreverent comments and some jokes. It's a really fun part of the week. So Tom and Julia, thank you so much for doing that, and to you, Tom, and to Julia and your families, to all the Foseys and their families, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. For me, it's been a momentous year. I'll continue as President of Australian Sailing, which will keep me very, very busy, but I've relinquished a significant responsibility in a big part of my life, and that's been as Chairman of Ronstan. After 48 years, I submitted my resignation in October, and I'm now free from responsibilities, although I will remain a raving ambassador for the company. What it has enabled me to do is get away to my house on the lake at Meetung, which I do probably 50% of the time. And I just thought I'd finish this little report by showing you what I'm standing at, looking at now, and I'll see if I can do this. So I'll stop this one.
And start the next one.
So this is me back again, just to finish off my little message. And I thought a panoramic view from my new office and home at Meetung on the lake in Victoria is a nice way to do it. You can see it's a bit of a gloomy day. It's normally a lot sunnier than that, but it's a bit gloomy, but you can see this panoramic view of the lake. There's normally a lot of boats out there, but not today. We've got everything to play on. We've got the new pizza oven over there, the couches. I've got a fire pit down there. I've got a trampoline for the kids, and right in front of me is a 6 metre long swim spa that I went for a swim in this morning. So anyway, just showing you where I am. I think that's a bit of fun, and aiming to get here as much as I can next year. And all the Fosey are always welcome if you'd like to come and visit. That's it for me for 2023. Signing out. Cheerio, and catch all of you in 2024. Bye.
How nice.
Indeed.
Huh?
How great.
Yeah. I turned the music down a bit here, but what a guy. 48 years.
Yep.
And now he's wrapping up, or will be wrapping up his second year. He's going into his second year, I guess. I don't think it's a calendar year there, but bravo Zulu to him. And thank you for your AAAA, Alistair Murray, Super Fosey as well. Jonathan Frank saying, congratulations on a job well done, good sir. How lovely, very nice view. Lots of nice comments coming, including about butter and bacon. Butter and bacon, Julia. Well, yes, I just wrap this up as we wrap up Alistair's awesome Aussie anecdote. So, okay, we've got to, I was croutonic by not, putting butter on, obviously. I've learned my lesson. Won't do it again. I'm sorry. I apologize. Bacon, I think that's a little over the top, but of course, bacon on anything is pretty good.
I know. I have 2 pieces left over from breakfast.
Now, let me ask you and the Fosey one other thing. Now that I've eaten mine, mine's gone. Is yours gone?
Mhm.
Oh, it was good. Does one drink coffee or tea with this?
Well,
With this marmalade,
depends on who you are.
this preserve.
Yeah. I imagine the English side of everybody.
The
leisure takes tea.
Okay, well, we ask everybody. Andrew Pindar saying, looks terrible. Can't see why anyone would want to spend half their life there in Metung. He calls it Metung. I pronounce it like it's Spanish Metung. Okay. Yeah, I think Andrew has been there, or he's at least, I don't know if he's been out to his place, but Alistair Murray, I should have mentioned, I'm doing the Taser Nationals and Worlds next week. So we'll send some AAAs from there, aiming for the top half of the fleet. Bravo. So they got 100 boats at the Taser Worlds. We did a little feature on that a couple weeks ago. Tea. Depends on the tea. Strictly tea. Man, oh man. Eat whatever you like, prepared however you like. Chris, actually, he's a man to my.
Yes, indeed.
And yours, Julie. I know that's how you feel. Julie says either is okay. Groover says, I don't know a lot of people that drink both coffee and tea. You know, I do. I do too, and I'm probably not correct because I do too. I have a cup of coffee in the morning, sometimes a cup and a half, usually iced. I know that's a sacrilege for many people.
Not if you like it.
I like it. And then I usually in the afternoon have a cup of tea, Earl Grey. Someday we'll tell the joke about the Texan who went to England and heard there were 3 types of tea. And he said, well, he thought about it for a minute. And he said, we have 3 types of tea in Texas too. Maybe Jonathan Frank knows that joke, or maybe Boomer Bland knows that joke. I'm not going to tell it now because I'd get a finger shake.
Uh-oh.
It's a finger wag from you. Thank you, Alistair. Terrific job. Alistair's awesome Aussie anecdote for this show. Number 670. I feel like it's a Friday, Julia.
I know. I do too.
Clearing up a little bit, but we're going to have a lot of rain here. I hope we don't get your elevator shaft here at the Beach Street Yacht Club flooded again and the garage floor flooded again like we did a year ago.
Was it?
Oh, yeah. It was quite a mess. I had to put my hip boots on to go.
I didn't.
Okay, we got to revisit Sail GP because this photo finish keeps coming up, and they have released a video about this closest finish in the history of Sail GP. You'd think it had been going on for 170 years.
Sail Grand Prix presented by P&O Marines provided the closest photo finish in Sail GP history, with New Zealand coming out on top in dramatic fashion.
And watch this turn as Pete Burling we're talking a meter or two ahead of Jimmy Spithill and the Australians.
And with Oracle Insights, we can see in the data how the New Zealand Sail GP team managed to secure the win through precise tactical manoeuvres in the final race. Let's explain. As displayed in Cadiz, the US Sail GP team used data-led insights to make a bold move into more wind to secure the event victory. And with Jimmy Spithill leading the Aussie boat in Dubai, the data shows how the Roos performed 7 manoeuvres, leading to the highest average speed and a 59% flight time, keeping them in contention to win it all. However, although trailing for most of the race, Peter Burling and his New Zealand Sail GP team managed to execute more manoeuvres to stay foiled for longer, leading to a finalist best flight time of 61%. The key moves being separating themselves from the Aussies and Canadians on the last 2 legs of the course.
The speeds come up as New Zealand splits the course,
giving themselves opportunity to sail freely and securing the inside track priority at the final mark turn.
Look at this, the Kiwis as they come in, it is going to be tight at the corner. Who's going to give way?
Canada have got to give room to Australia and to New Zealand.
Claiming the narrow win at the finish line. In Sail GP, tactical decision making matters, and New Zealand knew what needed to be done and when to come out on top. Powered by Oracle, SailGP Insights is an online dashboard which provides fans with huge amounts of data from our cutting-edge racing F50 catamarans.
I guess that was an okay video.
Yes,
huh?
it was.
And that was a close finish, and the comments are, Meitung is a stunning, back on Alistair's place, Meitung, he calls it, is a stunning location on the Gippsland Lakes. Sandringham Yacht Club visits there, and Moss every Easter. Chris Fury, who knows a thing or two about a lot of places in the world, as do many of our Fozy.
Absolutely.
Julie Aarons, iced coffee is we do run the gamut here. Iced coffee is my favorite. Tea in the evening, decaffeinated tea at night. Bing Bong. Is it Jack? Which Sangmeister kid is this? Tell us, Bing Bong. Wow, slow boats, close race. Who would have thought? He loves this stuff like his dad does.
Yeah.
Stingray, who's the ever-promoting SailGP. SailGP has run over 160 races already. It is almost historic. Steve Atkins, Commodore Atkins, weighing in about bacon crumbles at Costco. Life-changing.
The best bag at Costco.
As long as they don't clog up your arterial arteries.
No.
Your arterial arteries, your coronary arteries. Bloody hell, Julia. I need some more coffee myself.
Yes.
David James, it might be worth considering Stan Honey's contribution. Yes, he has helped make SailGP and our beautiful sport, our beloved sport, so much better with his graphics. And of course, Larry Ellison paid for that, not to diminish what Larry did. Jody Shields, oh my God, a teal person doing, a real person, I think that means, a teal person too, maybe, doing the voiceover. What is the world coming to? Yeah, the Kiwi lady there. I don't know who that was. Do you, Jody, know who that was? She sounds like a South African. Ted Ryman, I thought she was a Kiwi, but maybe she's South African. Maybe she's a Brit. Okay, it's Will. Oh, it's Will, the kid. Bing Bong. Well, he owes me audio for my phone. He criticizes, that is Will Sangmeister. He owes me an audio. Do you know what? He all the time and he's funny. The kid is the funniest of all the Sangmeister kids. He's funnier than his dad. And funny than all of them combined. And his mother's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But the kid, Will, long ago criticized my iPhone voicemail message because it says, "Hi, I am in the country, but please don't leave a message. I get so damn many messages on my phone. I never. Yeah. And Julia is also critical of me for never, ever answering.
Answering his phone.
I don't answer. Well, I rarely answer the phone because I'm here recording or we're on the air or I turn the phone off, and you should talk because you will forget to turn your phone back on.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, leave a message. Text me. If I get a text, I see all the texts and But he does not like my voice message. He says, why don't you just say, screw you, don't leave a message. Why do you say I am in the country, but don't, because I haven't changed this in 10 years when I used to have a New Zealand number and a Spanish number and a German number before that, and I'd come to the U.S. and I didn't want to change the message, yada, yada, yada. And Will promised to make me a new message, and he has not. So, Will, get with the program, please. Okay, enough of all that.
Mine says, if you really want to talk to me, leave a message.
Well, everyone wants to talk to you.
They don't.
They do too. They do too. Okay, let's just wrap this SailGP segment up. Season 4 championship. We like to remind everybody that Tommy Slingsby, who's on paternity leave. Oh, have they had the kid? Has anyone heard? I haven't seen anything. Hopefully that's going very well indeed. What's his wife's name? Helen, I think. Nikolai Sehested in second. The Kiwis with Peter Burling on the helm, driving. Skippering that team is in third, Sir Ben in fourth, and the newly anointed skipper for the U.S. team, Taylor Canfield, in fifth. We'll see how the rest of that season goes when they get going again in January 13th and 14th of January in Abu Dhabi. So they stay in the Middle East for another regatta. And this gets us to the AC-37 segment. This is a cool video. I don't like those recon videos, as you all know. Some are better than others, but they're not that interesting. They're not that informative. It's just kind of a fire hose of information. And in fact, not even information. It's a fire hose of talking head. I should talk. and Julia, not much information because everybody's very professional, very circumspect, and not telling anybody anything real. So they're not that interesting. But this one, from, okay, maybe not a technical standpoint, but to give you an insider look at a team base, this is Shannon Falcone, with whom I have a lot of time for. I've done a couple campaigns with him. A great, big, strong guy, good sailor, hell of a good sailor from the Caribbean. And also a really nice guy. Shannon, they call him Falcone in English, but it's Falcone, who's fluent also in Italian, and with Luna Rosa Pradaprelli, does a base tour, and it's in Italian, but there are English subtitles, and rather than me reading them, I think I just tune in. If you're not watching right now and you want to see this, come watch the video now so you can see the subtitles on Shannon's video from their team base in Cagliari.
Ciao a tutti, tour velocissimo della base Luna Rossa qui a Cagliari. Vista mare, non male, qui Golfo degli Angeli, Cagliari, palestra, cyclers, qui tutte le mattine al sailing team si ritrova, pesi, bici, è cambiato la scorsa volta, si viveva su questi, ora invece la potenza in barca generata per i cambi vela sono dati dalle gambe. Il nostro Paolo Simeon, ex ciclista, il grande Luca Kirwan, là vedi l'albero che sta andando al nostro elichio in acqua, qui i velisti con il Jacopo Plazzi fanno il loro debrief, tutti i dati, ora non ce l'ha sugli schermi, avranno fatto il weather briefing di oggi, però come vedete con tutta la tecnologia i post-it notes vincono sempre. Hamish Wilcox, Design Office, qui praticamente lavorano in 30 persone, tutti i vari dipartimenti, quelli ragazzi che lavorano su sviluppo dei foil, roba di fare la barca più leggera possibile, più veloce. Non ti posso far vedere che cosa c'è dietro quello schermo, però le ragazze che fanno andare avanti il team, Monique e Camilla, non male come vista. Poi ci controllano anche quando entriamo e usciamo dalla base. Punto più importante di tutta la base, la cucina. Oggi cosa c'è per pranzo?
Abbiamo una spaghettina al pomodoro, taccole, patatina che stiamo appena sfornando, e poi prosciutto, mozzarella e parmigiano.
Visto. Made in Italy. Per il compleanno di qualcuno? Grazie, auguri. Non male. Questo è quello che chiamiamo, diciamo, la nostra boat tent, dove tutti i container che vedi al lato sono tutti praticamente i container di un dipartimento. Ora salgo su che mi è arrivato un messaggino che devo portare un pezzo. Special delivery. Da Martin? Ok, top. Ecco il giocattolino, il barchino, l'LQ, less than or equal to 12 meters. Praticamente quello che usiamo per sviluppare. Ora fanno il stepping. Praticamente l'albero ogni giorno su e giù. Oggi pronto? Certo. Arrivano i velisti qui, c'hanno i caschi, comms, il mirror, praticamente l'aria da respirare se scuffiano e si sono trappolati sotto. Questa è la veleria, la Juve di Maxi, c'è anche Michele Bella. Container HMI, il miglior container della base. Poi l'ho detto, taglieranno questa parte sicuramente. Sono circa 35 persone che vanno in mare tutti i giorni, allora importante a queste velocità è la comunicazione. Dai, fammi vedere il tuo setup, Andrea. Casco, comms, goggles, radio.
Il numero di riconoscimento.
E il suo numero che è la 06. Chase 1, dove ci sono già i technicians a bordo. Facciamo un salto. Appena la barca entra in acqua fanno, diciamo, i pre-flight checks. Per quanto dura all'incirca tutto il...
Dura circa 20 minuti il check del Falcon System e altri 10 minuti per il check dei flap, che sono i check molto importanti per noi per poter navigare in sicurezza.
Abbiamo una barca di 40 piedi con 2 vele piccoline e qui abbiamo 2000 cavalli che abbiamo anche un po' di difficoltà a starci dietro quando c'è un po' di onda. La seconda barca d'appoggio praticamente in due serve quando devi fermare con onda o quando la barca scuffia. Vicky, qual è la tua barca favorita di Luna Rossa?
Questa.
Okay, it ends a little, this one, it ends a little unceremoniously.
Yeah.
But
it was good.
Interesting, eh?
Yes, absolutely.
Huh?
And I also love following the Italian and the English.
That's the best way to learn a language. That's
Yeah.
what little German I was able to learn in the 10 years we lived in Germany. It was not by watching, it's by watching German language films, not films that have been voiced into English, but you watch the German language, listen to the German language, and then see the English as subtitles. That's the way to learn. Same with that. Interesting. Did you hear what he said about pre-flight? I mean, that's a pre-flight. It's 20 minutes, and it's a half an hour pre-flight checks just to be sure all the electronics are working. To say nothing, several of you commented about what an amazing high tech, the number of people, the amount of money being spent just to go sailing for a few minutes each day, or a couple hours.
Yeah.
And the answer to the question does look like the LEQ-12 is it looks like it was ready to go back in the water. So after the damage that it suffered, remember it got cracked the whole day, did the big crash and burn, and so it looks like they're back. Lisa Darmanin is an Australian, not South African, not Brit, not Kiwi. So she is she's one of the commentators, and a good commentator. So she was the one doing the voiceover of that Sail GP video.
Oh, good.
Stingray saying plenty of room for arm waving in that base. Somebody else wanted to be the food tester. Yeah, Bill Wingrove, awful lot of technology, effort, and money spent just to sail around like a pinball machine. Smith, Gordon I want to be their food taster, either that or with the French squad.
Oh, and Stingray has top news. Singsby and his beautiful wife had a son delivered late last night.
He did. Nice. Fantastic. Breaking news here on Sailing Illustrated.
Right.
Did he name him Jimmy? They name him Jimmy?
Go back to the last
Breaking wind, he says. He also arrived with the name. No, he didn't. The baby son arrived hours late to the line, and so unsurprising. Steve Gruber, Patricio does not scrimp. I can vouch for that too. I've eaten with that team, and they were our next door neighbors in Valencia, and I ate with them and went to some of their parties, and it was good fun. And great food. Nice. It looks like a Formula One. You could eat. It looks like you can eat off the floor. Julia's moving her.
Yeah.
What's left of our? Did you eat all of that?
No.
Did we eat all of that?
Almost.
Preserve?
Almost.
Here it says strawberry guava spread.
Yes.
Is that for the American audience? Calling it a spread?
Well, and that's probably what it's called.
Okay. Meanwhile, we have not been able to return to the moon. Okay. Thank you for that, Shannon Falcone. I enjoyed that video very much. It gets us to the last leg with that famous painting by Thomas Hoyne from, 1982. He painted that. That's in honor of our posies up in the Pacific, or in the Maritimes.
Yes.
In the Northeast and in the Canadian Maritimes. A new podcast out. There's a lot of podcasts now in the sport, and precious few video podcasts. Only one live video podcast. You're watching it now, whether live or in replay. But Caleb Payne has just released in the last couple of days his first episode of his new podcast, Painful Truth. And he says, hello and welcome to the very first episode of podcast where we sail on a journey through the dynamic world of competitive sailing. He, of course, was our Olympic bronze medalist in the Finn class 2016. In this podcast, I'll be sharing not just my personal sailing saga, but also exploring the broader currents that shape this incredible sport. And I've just got an excerpt from the first few minutes of it to listen to. The audio.
Hi, everybody. This is Caleb Payne with The Painful Truth, episode 1. So this is where it all begins. Maybe this is where it all ends. This podcast is specifically about competitive sailing in the U.S. It will be through anecdotes of my own and interviews from other people I've competed against and leaders in the field and, leaders of organizations I hope to interview over my time doing this and kind of get a better understanding of where we're at, where we're going and how we can improve from the lessons learned in the past and the innovative and creative ways that people are solving some of these problems for the future. We're going to deep dive into my own anecdotes, interviews with, I would hope to be, competitors that I've had in the Olympic trials or elsewhere. And then even innovative technologies that, sailing it was where it's headed with obviously the new foiling generation being a huge push and also reflecting on the past and the benefits that and carryovers from and lessons learned from there. So, yeah, I think this first episode is going to be more about getting to know me for those who don't know, kind of my story and how I got into this and why I've started to do this podcast and where I'm at now in life and reflect back on the experiences I've had over the years competing in competitive sailing. So for those of you who don't know, I was born and raised in San Diego. My dad was
Okay, so there is the opening of yet another sailing podcast. We've got the bar karate. It's not literally karate. What that's the Australian podcast, sailing podcast that Jody's been a part of. And we call it when we're in a bar as sailors and we start going like this, and then we go like that. It looks to non-sailors like we're doing bar karate, and we're talking about what the boats did. So it's the Bar Karate Podcast, and they've done up 250 some odd episodes by now. Good podcast. Shirley Robertson does a podcast once a month or so, usually just interviewing a super sailor, and that's quite good. There are, Dennis was doing one for a while, and I think he's wrapped that up, and a number of others, but video podcast is where it's at. And I'm delighted to see Caleb doing this one. And the guy, the podcast is actually interesting to listen to because he explains how, I'm going to turn the audio down, but how he himself, bootstrapped himself kind of outside of U.S. sailing, outside of, his dad sold one of his cars. His dad was a middle school teacher. His mom's an ICU nurse, and they're in Coronado in California. It's not a cheap place, an inexpensive place to live. He sold one of his cars to help finance a boat purchase for Caleb early on. And, he didn't go to the youth worlds. He didn't go to this or that. So he did sail collegiately and turned into a hell of a good sailor, inspired by Olympians who showed up at his club, at the Coronado Yacht Club one day. And these were San Diego Yacht Club folks who showed up and said, we did this, you can do this. And he said, after that, I wanted to be an Olympian and not much else in sailing. And he single-mindedly pursued that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So cool stuff. Caleb Payne, his new Painful Truth podcast. It's on the various platforms. You get it. Just Google it.
Yeah.
1 minute video here. The last little bit in this is from Pip Hare. Wow, another video that ended rather unceremoniously. But nonetheless, that is Pip Hare. She had a bit of a problem in the race back from Guadalupe. back because they did race back. I didn't cover it because I didn't think it was that interesting. But she raced back and then ran ran aground.
Yes,
something had a problem, and now she's wrapping up the year. Put this video out, and okay, nice video. For those of you who are wondering where your mugs are going, I see that Stingray just referred to the University of North Texas, and that's that UNT mug that if you turn around the other way, he gets a finger wag for that. University of North Texas. Yes, Stingray, I do have your mugs. I have the Pindar mug. I have Mr. Dr. Andrew McIrvin's mug. And this came from the OK Dinghy class. I don't know if that came from, I think Boomer sent that, Boomer Bland, but somebody in the OK Dinghy class sent that as well. We do have your mugs. They're being put to good use here behind me in the studio. We appreciate that very much. As we wrap this one up at the last leg in the finish line now, we have Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. Julia, did you see this guy is now, he's saying, yeah, one of the most interesting things in the world now,
yeah,
he's saying is Bitcoin. He's doing a whole new ad for Bitcoin. I just saw it here the other day. I'll try to grab it and use it for an additional, as a piece in one of our future shows.
I thought he died.
No, you keep saying that. I keep telling you he's alive.
I'm so glad.
No, he's alive. He just did another ad. Okay, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, what the fudge? We showed this. This was so popular, and since I'm in the Christmas spirit, Julia is as well, I thought we'd show this again. A lot of you had not seen this use of a Windex before, and I'm told in the we do read your comments. We go back and read your comments, and what used to be a $20 item, I think, Rick Lyons from my home club, who's been working at Portage Yacht Club and Midwest Aquatics, Midwest Sailing for years, like 50 years, closing in on 50. He said, yeah, the price of this thing's gone from like $15-20 when I used to buy them to something like $50 now. The Windex, your masthead fly. And I just thought we'd put Rick Bannerow's photo up again because so many of you liked that. John Rogers, I'll come to your comment in a sec. I want to use that comment. Thank you. I suggest we drink before we go out drinking. In the holiday spirit, this was set by Ed Worley, and this for the drinking show with a sailing habit. Thank you, Ed. But let's all be responsible, happy, and healthy as we really get into the heart of the holidays. And one more, if you have never seen the America 2 Christmas ornament, when I was executive director back in the 80s of the New York Yacht Club's America 2 Syndicate, I commissioned these Christmas ornaments that we sent to all of our benefactors. And Julia, I think we should have these made up. Obviously not time this year. We should have some Sailing Illustrated Christmas bulbs, ornaments made up for the future. What do you think?
Do people still do trees?
Yes.
Yes.
Lots of people do. I do. I mean, out here in the America's Cup Salon here at the Beach Street Yacht Club. Okay,
Yes.
we do a tree here too.
Right.
Huh?
Yeah.
Okay, notwithstanding it's the corn plant, the ceiling high corn plant that's there all year, but it's got
Yeah.
some lights on it, and we put some bulbs on it and decorations.
Yeah.
America 2.
Yeah, that looks like a great finish on
I
that.
think we should do that for the future. Those ornaments are lovely. Thank you, Fog Machine. I just want to go back up because I'll bet you John, where's that comment from?
John Rogers.
John Rogers.
It's Caleb and his brother.
You want to read it, please?
Caleb and his brother paid their dues in substandard Naples Sabbaths, maybe they are, and then saved and worked to earn their race boats. One thing that set Caleb apart was his long hours on the water without coaching and his commitment to bicycle racing.
Yeah, he said in the podcast that he was 6 feet tall at age, I don't know, 12, 13, something like that. And he outgrew the Naples Sabbath, which is the SoCal version of the Optimist. And he went into the laser and got good in the laser and then matriculated to the man's boat, the Finn. Sorry, John Emmett.
Yeah.
Laser's a man's boat too, especially straight leg hiking and breezing that boat. I mean, that's a tough boat to sail.
Yeah.
And he said in the comment in that podcast, I listened to most of it this morning. He said that Mark Reynolds, the what Mark medaled 3 times, twice in the star class, San Diego Yacht Club, gold once, at least once, maybe twice, I can't remember. And Mark had come over and said, you know, this is easy. It's not easy. This is tough to do, but if I can do it, you can do it. He's a San Diego boy. And so did J.J. Fetter. Was with him as well. And, you know, she was a, silver medalist, Barcelona 92 in the 470 class. JJ was with Pam.
She did very well. I remember.
With Pam Healy.
Yeah.
I was on the jury that heard the final protests. And it was a trumped up protest by the Ukrainian, the Russian then, the Ukrainian. Larissa Levichenko, what was her name? Somebody will know. Even her coach said the protest was lame. And of course, our panel, I was chairing the panel that heard the protest and said, dismissed. Larissa was a terrific sailor, and I think she's involved in the IOC or World Sailing at some high capacity now. She'd come in, we'd get to know in the years before the Olympics, you'd go do the jury for different events of the class, the 470 Worlds in Toronto and the 470 this or that, the Star this or that, because you knew you were going to be handling that panel at the Olympics. And Larissa was famous, and she was a beautiful gal, probably still is. She was famous for coming into the jury room in a skimpy bikini top. Oh, I didn't have time to find, I don't have my T-shirt, and coming in all the old fart. I was young, of course, and
you're a young fart.
I was a young fart, and all the old farts sitting next to me, their tongues are hanging out. Unbelievable.
Worked.
Nice comment from John Rogers, who's the coach, still probably coaching kids in Coronado, college coach and beyond. Balls Illustrated. Come on, Ryman. That deserves a finger shake, Julia. Ted. Sailing Illustrated ornaments. I'll drink to that, Stingray said. We get that organized for next year.
All right.
If we're still around. Silly question, but we'll ask anyway. Back to the Ilka 6s mentioned earlier. I thought they were for women. No, a lot of men sailed Ilka 6s. John Emmett will tell you. And especially younger, smaller males will sail as they did at the Youth Worlds and have been doing it at the Youth Worlds for some time. Mark Reynolds is an absolute prince, Farmashi. He is indeed. Okay. At the Olympic level, the men sail the Ilka 7, the laser, and the women sail the Ilka 6, what used to be called the laser radial. Ted Ryman earned a finger wag today.
All right.
Huh? He did. Julie already gave it to him.
Yeah.
That about wraps it up for us. We are to the finish line in Bermuda with this J24. Julia, your witness.
Yes, you have a great opportunity now to like, follow, and share.
Indeed, comments are welcome, even in replay. We do go back and read them, and we leave comments open. One of the few webcasts. You know, there's a new word for this. They used to call it a live podcast. They used to call it a live webcast.
Videocast.
A videocast. Well, podcast has been kind of what everybody calls it, whether it's audio or video, audio only or video. But now, you know what they're calling it? A live cast.
A live cast.
A live cast.
Oh,
not a broadcast, not a narrow cast, a live cast.
Oh, that's nice.
Simple.
Yeah.
So I guess we're a live cast. And we would not be here live casting if it weren't for our patrons via Patreon. Thanks for your support. We appreciate very much. They are the sponsors of each and every one of these shows, whether or not in the once in a blue moon, we do have another partner sponsor who contributes a few bucks more than what the patrons do, although some of them contribute as much as $1,000 a month. $100 a month, a few bucks a month, all of it is appreciated, as are those who give us audio, video, and images for these shows. Julia.
I was thinking, and their contributions are used with great care.
Well, yes, we're not, we use it for the show and for basically for the equipment, because as you all know, putting all this equipment together and keeping it together is not an easy task. I'm pleased to say, by the way, we had 0 frames drop today. We had a problem, and that was not our problem. That was the internet the other day, and we rarely do have internet problems, but it's thanks to the good equipment we have in here, Julia.
Right.
that the Fozie's contributions help keep up to date and keep modern, and let us bring you a good webcast each and every Tuesday and Friday at 1300 Pacific. Daniel Mount, the last word to you. Thank you for all your nice comments, all of you above. Be around next year. Would be good to have a Sailing Illustrated ordainment. Old croutons never die, just crumble and blow away. That's probably true too.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you very much indeed. We'll see you on Friday. But before I do this, just a reminder, our holiday schedule, we will have a live show, a live cast on Friday at our regular time, show 671, and then Monday night, our time. Sorry, that's wrong. Yeah, that's night. Monday night, our time, which is Christmas night, show 672, which is the watch party for the start of the Rolex Sydney Hobart race on the 26th down under on your Boxing Day at 1 p.m. local in Sydney. And then we will have another show on Tuesday. So we'll be live Sunday night and then Tuesday to check in with what's going on in the Rolex Sydney to Hobart, because as I said at the top of the show, I think, thanks to Jeff Waller, I think we're going to have a live feed off one of the Maxis.
That would be great.
That is exclusive to Jeff Waller's World on Water and us. And I hope that's still in play, and that's going to happen. Which network is it? 7 Network, Color 7 has the live coverage in Australia, and we'll pick that up and we'll do the watch party with that. We'll stream it here on our normal channels, and it's also available if you don't want to watch us. You can watch it live from their YouTube channel, the CYCA's YouTube channel down there. So that is, in fact, our Christmas night, your Boxing Day down under on the 26th. Then we're going to take the following Friday and Tuesdays off. Yeah, we got a 49ers game also that day, and a Warriors game. The basketball team is playing here, Julia.
Mm-hmm.
No shows on the 29th, and then on Tuesday, January 2nd, I'm going to be out of town. And on Friday, January 5th, we'll be back at it with our regular show number 674. Thanks to all of you. Andrew McIrvin, I hope he's up and about in Europe in the middle of his night on Boxing Day, and we appreciate his expertise as Secretary General of the Maxi Association, International Maxi Association, and he'll be on with us in the watch party as well. It sounds like he just said so in the comments,
Mm-hmm.
and we appreciate all of that and all of you. Julia, thank you. Thanks, everybody. Hope you have a great rest of your week. We will see you on Friday. In the meantime, sail fast, sail safe, and have fun. Ciao for now.